We'll wait until about 2 minutes in and then we'll start.
Okay. I'm right back.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay. So we're 2 minutes in.
Okay.
Welcome you guys to part 2 of Survive and Thrive. If you tuned in yesterday, you definitely got some good information. Don't forget tomorrow is the debut of the Netflix doc, April the title.
The remix hip hop times fashion.
And it definitely bounces off of everything we spoke about yesterday.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to go a different route and discuss the self-care that's necessary to stay sane and calm and healthy, A, in this industry, and B, during times like this. So again, I'm going to turn it over to April to introduce herself, and we'll take it from there.
Hello, good people. How are you today? My name is April Walker, and for those that don't know, I am a maker and a creator. Some know me as a fashion trailblazer, an icon. I hate saying that. It sounds so corny to me, but
Say it.
so it is what it is. But I am a maker and creator. I'm from Brooklyn. I love igniting the passion of other people and towards their dreams. I'm big on goal getting and going after it. And I think we all have something really special to do while we're here visiting this earth, and it's up to us to do it and have the courage to move forward towards that. So I like to think of myself as one of the conduits to help inspire you to get there. And yeah, I started a line called Walkerwear many moons ago, over 3 decades now, and actually, you know, have been on this entrepreneurial journey and this health and wellness journey as well. So I just am here to share.
And thank you for sharing, because as you know, we get some of the best information, sharing, having conversations, etc. So first and foremost, how do you look so incredibly relaxed right now?
I'm just taking deep breaths, you know, that always helps. And I actually just told my mind, to be honest, be fully present here, you know? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just being here. I'm listening to you. I'm not trying to hear anything else. And so, you know, when we do that and we can't zero in, it allows us to take away everything else.
How important is self-care in keeping yourself, I guess, focused when you have a stressful job or you're placed in a stressful industry?
It's everything. it's everything as a human being, you know, because whether we're entrepreneurs, which is an added level of stress, but just being a human being, we grow up with so much trauma, PTSD. There are so many, we're complex. Human beings are complex individuals, you know, and so you have mind, body, and spirit. And all of that is like makes us who we are. But over time, experiences, life, sometimes we become wear and tear comes in play, right? And so with wear and tear, sometimes there's an erosion of that life that we all have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still there. It's just up to us to press reset. And that's a gradual process. You know, pressing reset is just, you know, a metaphor for what I'm saying, but it's really about being intentional about, let me get back to my state of being in optimal health. And how can I do that? And I think once you become committed to that, everything changes, you know. And it's just that being aware, because life will have you going through the motions sometimes without being aware. You know, we wake up and we go to sleep and we're check chasing, we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to take care of the kids, we're, you know, making sure our boss is happy with us, or if we're an entrepreneur, we're making sure our customers are happy with us. We are taking care of men, women, grandmothers, mothers, doing everything else. But what do we do for us? That's what we need to ask ourselves. And we make time for everything else and we plan for everything else. But I would ask my tribe right now, what are you doing to plan for you and take care of yourself? And a lot of times that question and that answer comes back like, it's not an answer that people can answer right away. They have to think about that, or they don't even have the answer, you know, but you can tell me, you have to get up and you can tell me your routine for going to work. You know what I mean? So you have to question that once it gets up. That's no judgment, but it is time to do checks and balances when we get like that. And that's
Mm-hmm.
we all get there. But just noticing and letting go by saying, okay, how am I going to change that? And you can always change it.
I think these past couple of months have forced people to really dig into their self-care toolbox or
Yep.
even establish one, because a lot of us didn't have one before. And this particular time forced you to reflect on a lot of your habits and routines because now they've changed.
Absolutely.
So um, give me an example of what your self-care routine looked like pre-pandemic and how you kind of tweaked it post.
It's crazy because I'm a person who is really very like organized and non-negotiable when it comes to my self-care. But if I'm honest, the pandemic put me back on track because I got to a point where I was getting off balance because I was working on so many different things. I was um, going like this with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying, I got to get back. I was still working out. I was still doing the, you know, praying and meditating, but it was not the consistent person that I have become, you know. And it was also um, saying, I'm going to be good to myself. I'm not going to beat myself up, you know. And that can be an excuse sometimes, you know, because it did get off balance. And I just find that, you know, success leaves clues. So if we look at other people who are highly successful,
Mm-hmm.
they all do certain things, you know, and they're non-negotiable about them. So, you know, those are easy things to look at, guys, and whatever path you're taking to do your homework, to do your market research and to do that part. But I could say 9 out of 10, whatever industry it is, most of them exercise and most of them make time for themselves. because the best investment you will ever have is making deposits into yourself.
Mhm.
And that requires mind, body, and soul. And I want to get a little bit into that as well. So, can I expand on that a little bit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I actually made notes for you guys because I was really thinking about this. And, you know, in terms of the mind, there's so many aspects, but think of our bodies and think of how we exercise. Our minds are the same way. So mental health is something real. And a lot of times we don't, that's the last thing we deal with, our minds, because we're doing everything else. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We're moving, we're going through these routines in life. But I would challenge you to, after you've already questioned yourself and taken that time later to do that and say, you know, where am I at right now in life? And what do I need to do to change the trajectory in my life and to make sure that I'm pouring into myself? And you've decided that you want to do that. Some of the things that I'll start with mine. Ask yourself what you think you deserve. What are you worthy of? I say that because it's a tough question, because it really requires you to dig deep and reflect and answer that. And a lot of us aren't sure. You are so much more, we are so much more than we know. And we are capable of so much more. So I just would also implore you all to dream big, because now is the time in life with this pandemic, with some serious pivoting going on, for you guys to decide, I'm gonna disrupt a little bit. I'm gonna change it up. It's a great time to write your ticket the way you want to, but it starts with your thoughts. Your thoughts create your words, and your words create your world. So you have to retrain your thoughts. And that requires a process. It's not overnight, but just knowing that is the first step, right? Some of the ways I do that is becoming mindful and intentional. Let me use that word, about committing to listening to my thoughts and committing to hearing my thoughts and committing to becoming a better listener. Because when you become a better listener with other people, then you become you listen to your own thoughts better. That's just real, you know. But that also requires you to have some alone time, to be okay with being by yourself so you can hear those thoughts. Those are really important for self-care too. That's how you get to know yourself, when you can listen to your thoughts. And it's okay, there's no judgment, but if you're hearing certain things, and all of us have been brought up in a very negative world right now. You know, it's a lot of negativity all around us in the media. Everything's negative, everything's this, everything's that. And, you know, we look at social media, it's so much out there in terms of distractions. It's up to you to rein it back and to say, you know, this is what I choose to believe. I'm not going to feed into the lies. And I just heard this and I thought it was great. And it was what a lie was. And a lie was, it was interesting. It was, what did you say the lie was? I'll go into that later. But basically, so I'm drifting, but what I'm trying to say is your mental health is everything, right? So things that can help you on that journey to getting right in terms of a great system is find your tribe, find positive people, positive affirmations. So one, tribe. Find people that will help you circle up, that will encourage you, that will uplift you, that will stand on your tippy toes. Number two, affirmations are important. Yes, get in front of your mirror, and it's going to seem silly at first maybe, but it's so powerful. Say 3 affirmations every morning. Look in your mirror and say 3 things to yourself, whether you believe them or not. Every day, if you do that, I promise you, after a while, you will start believing it. It's a power in the tongue, and it's a power in speaking life, and it's a power of speaking of where you want to go, like you're already there. So I implore you all to speak life. I have stickies all over my house, in my room, when I go in the mirror in the morning in the bathroom, the first thing I see is, I am powerful. I am an enabler. I am a financial steward. I am full of life. I am healthy. I am a game changer. Whatever you want, put it there. Everybody has something different, but speak life into your situation of where you want to be, right? So affirmations have been really powerful in helping me just be in alignment with those thoughts. Another thing when we think about mind is being our minds are, after we've thought of what we're worthy of, start imagining it. Start really spending time with it. Start really creating that picture that's why vision boards are really big, because you can see it. So make a vision board. Once you get there, make a vision board. See it. I have vision boards in my room. But also start closing your eyes and visualizing it. And that's a whole nother process. So we don't have too much time now, but what I would tell you is to Google visualization and look that up and do some research into it. At the end of this, maybe we'll have time to do a little something, but those are things that help me with my mind, those things right there. And they're powerful because if you're around positive people, if you retrain your thoughts by one other thing I do is a mantra, and it will bleed over into everything else, but notice and let go, meaning like be kind to yourself in this process of thinking about things. You're going to hear things that are incongruent, and that's just because you're changing and you're in that process. So sometimes you're going to slip up, and in the beginning, it's a lot where you're just, if it's negative, just notice and let it go. And switch that thought with something positive. That's what I do. So if I hear something negative, I say something positive to counteract that. So those are little life hacks that help me. So I said the tribe, affirmations, meditation, and also the last thing is leveling up. It's just like if I'm going to work out, work your mind. That means reading is fundamental. Podcasts are fundamental. Prove it. If you want to go somewhere and you want to be somewhere, what are you doing to get there? And I can't tell you how much education and knowing something and being knowledgeable about that subject will empower you and give you confidence and clarity. Confidence, competence, and clarity. That's the 3 C's. Write that down. Competence, confidence, and clarity. Those 3 things will give you power and enable you in your dreams and in that imaginative process. So I'm gonna just stop there. That's mine. Body we can go into, but we'll go into that a little later. I think you're on mute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mind and soul, I feel like they work hand in hand. Body too.
Yep.
But we'll circle back to body. But let's talk about your soul.
Okay.
A lot of people make decisions and don't do things that sit right with them. And it starts to taint the soul a little bit. So what do you suggest, especially in times like this? I feel like I've heard a lot of times in this industry that I've worked in regards to the journalism part, that people have sold their soul because they wanted a different opportunity. They just did things that didn't sit right. How does that affect yourself, and how can you, I guess, stay away from, keep your soul clear to stay away from making those type of decisions?
I think that's a very hard question, because I think that all of us make decisions that we regret at some point in life. So there's no judgment there, right? But I think that,
no.
So we're all human. But to counteract that, some of the life hacks and cheat things, tools that I use are, I've gotten to a point where it's very clear to me to ask myself, what is non-negotiable for you in life? And a lot of us haven't taken the time to do that. And that's really important because it's your compass to life, you know, and to your personal and professional life, your relationships and everything else. And for me, it's spiritual. You talked about soul, right? So for me, it's also, it's spirit. I don't know. I'm not trying to impose my beliefs on anyone, but I believe in God with everything, right? If you, most of you might believe in God or have a higher power or something that you believe in, that settles your spirit and brings you into a point of, I want to say, submission, humility, and understanding that it's bigger than you. So whatever that is, you know, it looks different to different people. That connection is essential. It's so important because it brings you into your ideals and your ideas and what you really believe in, right? It really cements that because you have, it's all here, right? So I would say write that down. You know, just like we write down our mission statement when we're entrepreneurs, you should have a life statement, a life mission statement. What is your life mission statement? What is your assignment for life while you're here as a human being? You know, because the entrepreneur is just part of it. But what are your values? And know that your personality is different than a character. Personality and character are two different things. So if you're not really clear on that, look that up later too, because you want to dig into your character, because your character is what's going to be the backbone of you in life and help you with your decisions. So for me, you know, it's hard, but what do we believe in? For me, my belief system is entangled into empowering others, to living my purpose. And I believe my passion and my purpose are connected. And I think that equals my profit. You know, that's my belief system. But on a bigger, on a stronger level, it's community. It's being a light to others while I'm here. And it's really empowering my community, because I believe when we empower each other, we're helping the ecosystem go like this. Because it's never going to trickle down in the environment we have. We are what we need. Lateral cooperation creates vertical movement, but we have to do it together. And so I'm really clear on my purpose. So wellness is one of my purposes. You know, being creative and tapping into your creative light and having you move forward like a butterfly, that's part of my purpose. You know, there are different things, but I'm planting my seeds, and it's up to us to all do that, because the world will be so much lighter when we do that. You know what I mean? But spirit wise, when you ask me that, I just think that once you identify who you are and what you believe in, it makes it easier, because you make better decisions, and you make two things that I'm clear about at this point in life. Let me put that out there. At this point in life, I make decisions that I can sleep good at night with, and I make decisions that won't make my ancestors cringe. Won't make my ancestors cringe. That's very important to me, because I'm very aware that I come on the shoulders of many giants who've made a lot of sacrifices for me and for us to be here. So I want to make sure that I'm taking movement forward. So, you know, that's important for my spirit. But I think that when you talk about spirit, I did write some things down. How are you connected to your higher power? Because that is definitely going to balance you in life and really give you the answers you need. Because it's not, sometimes no one can, another human being cannot give you the answer that you and the divine power of God or whoever your divinity and your higher power, you get those answers there. That's your source of life. The second thing is I would question us all to say if we believe how much time are we spending there daily. Because like anything else, we become sharper and stronger when we spend time and invest there, and it becomes clearer for us, our answers. Sometimes we can't hear things, but if we keep pouring in, if we keep praying, if we keep whatever it is, meditating, if you keep doing those things, I do a lot. I do several things. So I visualize, I meditate, I also pray, I read prayers, I read the Bible, I read, it's a lot, it's a process, but it's just like pouring in your own cup. How are you doing that spiritually? So that's what I would ask you. And then how are you nurturing your spirit? Right? You make that time for you. So I think those things are very important. A lot of us believe in sage. That's part of it. Like that's a tool, but you'll find different tools, crystal, sage, all of these things. Those are enablers, but it really starts with the essence. Mhm.
So I think how or what advice would you give to people trying to, I guess, develop a self-care routine? You spoke of mind and soul, which go hand in hand. We didn't touch body yet, but how do they rate what's most important? It's going to obviously vary from person to person because what's important to you might not be important to someone else, but how would you go about giving them the steps to sort of create that process?
Okay, so can I reverse engineer and go over body and then answer that question?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, because then it will be full circle on your answer. Um, so, so I really believe that as humans, we're at our best in life. And all of this is easy to say. Let me just put that out there. It's much harder to practice. So just know if you're taking notes, which I hope you are, that it's like a formula, and you're going to take what you can from this and apply it in your own life. But you might retool it and use it and add some other things that work. So this isn't a my way or a highway process. It's just to inspire you to get started and get on your journey in health and wellness, or add to it if you're already on it. But the body, I believe mind, body, and soul, and mind, body, and spirit, all of that is you're at your peak optimal performance as a human being when you're in alignment with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to take care of your body and feel really great if you're not taking care of your mind. It's very hard to take care of your mind, but if you're not taking care of your spirit, to feel really good. It's very hard to take care of your spirit, but if you're not taking care of your body, to feel really good. So that's the best way I can connect the three. But if you're doing all three, you're like an unstoppable machine. Really, it feels good. And it doesn't feel good from an arrogant space. It feels good from I'm in alignment and I am at my best for everyone, for the world right now. Because I'm hearing, I'm mindful, I'm intentional, and I'm living my purpose, and I'm equipped with the tools to do that. So body wise, there's so many things you can do. So I won't even go into it, but I would say exercise. That's key. That's the first step, to exercise. Find what your exercise routine is. I tend to get bored, so I change it up. I need to be outside and work out outside. I need to do yoga. I need to stand on my head. I need to be on the bike, But start, like when I first started, it might have been like a walk when I got back to working out. A walk a few times a week. And then I added, I will tell you this, the easiest way to start a routine is to just start. Just start. Say, I'm going to work out by walking 10 minutes a day for 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., whatever that is for you that you commit to in your schedule, you know it. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Because guess what? That 10 minutes, the next week becomes 15. When you master 15, it becomes 30 minutes. When you master 30 minutes, you might have walked an hour. You know, now I'm adding one more day to the equation. So now I might add something else, you know, but what happens is it ignites your spirit and quenches your thirst to want to do more, to be healthier. You start making healthier choices. You start saying, all right, now I'm at this level and it doesn't feel like a strain to walk for a half an hour. So you know what? I'm going to add a little interval training. So instead of just walking, I might walk for 10 minutes and run for 5. And then I'm going to walk for 10 again. And, you know, and there's so many things you can do and so many trainers, so many apps, so many free YouTube training that will tell you I want better abs. I want cardio. I want calisthenics. I would tell you to do your research because each one of us have different bodies. We're all vain to a certain extent. So we know what we want to improve upon. It might just be overall health. That should be your first goal. And then after that, once you start becoming healthy, you might say, you know what? I want to work on my arms. I want to show my legs, whatever that is. And you can look that up. They have that all day, every day online. So there's really no excuse to create a pattern that works for you, knowing your schedule, but commit to it. And don't just say, I want to work out 3 times a week. Put it on your calendar and make it non-negotiable and stick to it. What I can tell you is consistency creates patterns that create habits, that create congruency, that create disciplines, that create life-changing experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So know that, you know. And the other thing I would tell you about exercising is the other part that goes with that is your nutrition. What you eat is going to be your life. Eat to live. That means put color on your plate. You know, don't have everything so cooked down you're missing the nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
You know, add to them. Do your research there. Like I have sea moss in the house. I have CBD oil. I use Brown Jane Girl, which you can see on Instagram, but it's a high level CBD. They have great products. I use everything from the butter, the lotion. I take sleep at night. It helps me sleep because my mind is always moving. So it really helps me to just come down to a USA state. But you know, and then they have balance. So there are tools and enablers in what's in your toolbox kit. I have oregano oil. I have garlic. I have ginger, and those are daily things for me. Besides the vitamin C's and B's and all the other stuff. So just being mindful, and I'm not telling you to start with all of these things, but start with one thing out of it, and just add one thing after you mastered that one thing. And then you'll find yourself, I'll try this. You know, do your homework, do your research, be explorative, but be passionate about it. You should want to be healthier than anybody else wants you to be healthier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, and the last thing I would say that's essential to the actual physical part of us is sleep. You know, so we talked about exercise, we talked about nutrition, and then sleep. I mean, you can do your homework, but studies show you're a much more productive and nicer person. And if you get sleep, you can't make good, you know, one thing they tell the presidents, never make a decision if you haven't had enough sleep.
Yeah.
Never make good decisions. Try never to make big decisions if you haven't had enough sleep. That should say something to you, you know, and you want your life to be the fullest, robust, the best experience. We feel better when we get enough sleep. You know that's true. So find the time to take care of yourself. All of us can't get 8 hours at night, but maybe it's a little cat nap in the day. You know, find a way to break it up. And there's always a way to figure it out. That's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We figure
Mm-hmm.
everything else out. So you asked about that alignment of like, go back to that last question that you asked me, because now I can answer it.
Okay, so just how do you, I guess, give people the steps
Okay.
to start creating that
Yep.
process? Mind, body, soul.
Yep.
And it doesn't, like you said,
Yep.
everything is not going to work for everyone.
Yep. So first thing is to think about what's going to work for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would say to do the exploratory process. Think about who you are. Like some people like the gym, I don't. I can't work out inside. I know that about myself. So figure out what's going to be good for you, because we're all wired differently. So once you do that and think about what you like, you know, some of us it's an aerobics class, some of us like to dance, some of us like to jump rope. You know, think about what would be fun to you, because it should feel good. If you can make it feel good, make it feel good, you know, but commit to that, because that will get you started. And I think once you start feeling good and sweating and seeing results, you're going to become committed and addicted, and you might try something else. But start with something that's not like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, figure out what that is for you. And once you do that, look into it and become committed to that. If you don't have a lot of time, start with 5 or 10 minutes a day in each sector. That's what I would say. One thing, one goal, mind, body, and spirit. One thing, one goal, mind, body, and spirit. So that might mean, I'm giving you an example. You create your own worksheet, but it's basically a calendar that you're going to pull out Sunday through Saturday. This is how it's going to go for me, right? Or Monday through Sunday, whatever you create. It's, you decide how many days, what hours, how many minutes, and where on that calendar. And I would suggest you make mind one color, body one color, and soul one color in highlighters. And you pick one thing that you're going to commit to. Unless they say it takes 30, I say 30 days for a habit. They say 21, I say 30 days. So let's go with my way right now. We'll start 30 days just of that one thing to create a habit. But do that one thing and don't do more than 10 minutes. But if you commit to 3 things for 30 days, that's 30 minutes a day of your life to create a habit. And then once you master that, now you can add a little bit more on. And you might want to extend that time, or you might want to choose something else to add to that equation. But first, let's get you in the game. And the way to get in the game is just to commit on baby steps with one thing. Maybe it's instead of working out, you might say, you know what? I know bread is horrible for me. So for 30 days, I'm not going to eat bread. I know that's a hard one, you guys. I just threw out to you, but you get the picture. Maybe it's sugar. I'm not going to do sugar for 30 days. You know, sugar is the biggest poison out here. You know, that's like crack. It's not good for you at all. At all. So a lot of the diseases we see is because of sugar. So, you know, think about those things. You know, maybe it's, I'm going to take a walk. We're in the middle of a pandemic and we are very isolated and trying to be self-contained, but just to keep our minds and, you know, it's an evening walk. I'm going to walk in the evening for 10 minutes or a half an hour, whatever that is. Commit to one thing. I'm going to pray every day for the next 30 days, or I'm going to read something spiritual for the next 30 days, or I'm going to meditate for 5 or 10 minutes every day. You know, you pick that one thing, mind, body, and soul, and commit to it for 30 days. You will get there and start adding to that, and you'll be good after that. But color it up. So every day you're showing yourself, you check that off. I did it in a different color. So at the end of the 30 days, you have a calendar that actually has been chalked up with 3 different colors every day for 30 days because you did that. You did that. That's how to start.
And I think it's important too, because a lot of us have changed our daily routine. A lot of us are used to getting up, getting dressed, leaving, going to work. And now, be it school or work, we're getting up and going from the room to the couch.
Yep.
Instead of, leaving, picking up the laptop and going to the office,
Right.
we go from bedroom to living room to the laptop at the table. And
Yep.
we don't have a lot of that movement or that
Yep.
time in between to detox or to get going. So these are super important to impose now, whether you're going to school and your
Yep.
school is now solely online or remote, and the same for work. Sandy actually asked a really good question. She asked about the process of developing your character and tribe. Were there key experience or moments that were pivotal to establishing your character and tribe?
That's a great question, Sandy. Yes, yes, and yes. I think that it's been a lifelong journey for me. I would say in the beginning, once I decided to be an entrepreneur, I started living in my discomfort zone, meaning like I didn't really, and when I started, I didn't know anyone in fashion, and there was really nobody there to say, hey, come over here, I'll teach you. So I had to learn it myself. And that required me to be a fish out of water, right? And then, and basically go to places. It made me occupy a new residence, so to speak. I literally had to pick up and go to live in Los Angeles and have a car and ride around the fashion district every day and meet people and ask questions and get business cards, totally out of my comfort zone. But you know what? I was learning the business as I was doing this and digging and doing market research. And I'll be honest, I was actually acting like I already knew what I was talking about, and I didn't. But that process really let me learn a lot and meet a lot of new people. And it really required me to be very proactive about networking with the new tribe and about building relationships, learning other cultures, learning sometimes, you know what, people aren't always prejudiced. They just come from a whole new culture and they interact and they communicate differently.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't understand unless you're around enough of those people that, oh, that's the way they talk to each other too. You know what I mean? But I had to learn that. I had to learn that through trial and error. But yeah, that's one way. So I would first suggest is you to be okay with finding new tribe members, because that was the one thing I kept doing as I kept growing. I love my family. I love my friends. I still have friends from high school, but there are going to be a lot of people that are not going to be able to go with you on your journey, and that's okay, you know? So that was the one thing I had to do, is be okay with that and be very proactive about going to seminars, going to webinars, going to places that I might not, like you're here, and networking with new tribe members and making sure I made alliances and built relationships with people. That's key, because that person you meet might take you to another person, and you meet another person, and that person will just take your journey somewhere else. And you're like, wow, how did I get here? But it was through relationships. So, just be okay with being uncomfortable, because in your discomfort zone, that's where the growth is. So that's what I would tell you there. And I think that at every level of success, it's going to require a different level of you in your transformation, and in you living in a new discomfort zone, and in you being okay. I'm not going to be the smartest one in the room, and honestly, I shouldn't be, in order to keep evolving and growing. So, did I answer your question? Okay, I didn't know.
At the same time you asked her, she was typing, "Thank you very much for this wisdom." So
Oh,
yes,
okay. I
you
wanted
hit
to
it.
make sure I answered it.
No, you got it. That was a great answer, actually. And I think it's important for people to know that it's okay to be uncomfortable, and it's okay. Sometimes you have to do things that you're not used to. And if you continue to do things that you're used to, that
You're not
there's no
growing.
growth,
You're
right?
not growing. And Sandy, what I could tell you is I still am uncomfortable sometimes, to be honest. Like, you know, you never stop being uncomfortable. Never. Like, if you're growing, but it's exciting because you're learning something new. And what I will tell you is the more you do something you're uncomfortable with, the more you become comfortable. And like at a certain point, it clicks in like, oh, I got this. I can do this. Because you look back and all those experiences are making you experience. So you become the experienced person to pass on jewels like this is how you do it because you've actually done it. But you have to keep doing it.
Nice. No, that makes 110% sense. So here we are again at 3:46.
Okay.
Just a time check.
Okay.
I do want to go through your scholarship program, if you want to speak a little bit to that. And then Matthew just threw a question in the chat.
Okay.
We'll announce the scholarship winners, and then we can do maybe a quick minute or two visualization. Does that work for you?
Okay.
Okay.
So are we doing Matthew's question? What are we doing first?
So we can do Matthew's. I'll read Matthew's.
Okay.
As somebody in recovery who's been given the option of adopting all of the self-care lifestyle adaptations you have so amazingly explained, or falling back into an addictive addiction and the option of jails, institutions, etc., how would you suggest I prepare myself for the lifestyle of being a business owner in the streetwear fashion culture, and how to protect myself from the possibility of what is involved with it?
Okay, so I want to really get really clear on your question. I think you're saying, how can you be proactive and take care of yourself so that you don't fall back into other habits or around that, to be proactive to get where you need to go, to building your own dream and being in streetwear fashion and in that business. If I'm understanding you correctly, I would say here are a few things.
He said yes. Yes, correct.
All right, cool. Cool, Matthew. So the first thing I would say is be good to yourself and let go of any judgments you may have made even on yourself. Let it go right now. Notice and let go. You know, you might want to like ask yourself later about that if you have that. And I'm asking because, you know, we all have dealt with things, but we're all human. So the first thing I find is that part right there is important, because once you look in the mirror and you deal with that part, everything else gets easier. So that's the first thing. And then after that, creating some kind of self-care practices that are non-negotiable for you, Matthew, because you are worthy. And understanding how worthy you are is going to dictate how high you set your bar. So those practices would include what we just discussed: self-care on baby steps, on mind, body, and soul. It will also require you to live in your discomfort zone and start finding new tribe members, new groups, new podcasts, new things to listen to read, that will feed your mind and your imagination and your exploratory process to make you go where you imagine yourself being already. And so that's another thing. Have you imagined yourself being there already? And what does that look like? See it, feel it, understand it, and everything else will get clearer. But there are groups out there. You can start listening. I think a great one for you would be the podcast Brooklyn Combine. And they're online too. They're on Instagram. Nadia Lopez is another one to follow, the Lopez Effect. These are people that will feed into you, because they do a good job at really encompassing community while dealing with a lot of other dream issues as well to grow. You know, so all of those things, Think and Grow Rich, The Compound Effect is a good book for you to read. My book, I have a book called Walker Gems, Get Your Ass Off the Couch. You know, read inspirational things, listen to inspirational podcasts. You should listen to Lewis Howes, The School of Greatness. It's a podcast that you would love if you're trying to be inspired. It has business, health, inspiration, all different things, and interviews that will really be inspirational for you. I hope that helps.
I tried. Can you just say that last podcast you said?
Yes.
Lewis House?
The School of Greatness. Just look up The School of Greatness. And that's going to be a game changer for you. And then, you know, all of it's going to come not overnight, but just know that as long as you're going and doing the work, everything is going to follow. It might take a little time, but you're good. The fact that you're here and you're asking, salute.
Yes. Okay. So now we're going to go into the April Walker Streetwear Essentials Scholarship, which we're going to have 4 winners today. Some of you were here in the pod yesterday. Some of you, I keep saying the podcast, and this is not a podcast. Some of you were here in the conversation yesterday. I know, maybe that's a sign that we should start one.
Right.
Some of you were here in the conversation yesterday. Some of you are here again today. So if I call your name, I just need you to put your email address in the chat. Or actually, I can get it from the list. But yeah, drop it in the chat so then I can get information from you to start your login. So we have Anais Parada, Matthew Wheaton. I know you weren't in yesterday, but you dropped in today. Sandy Gordon and Joanne Mejia, who's in Texas. She was asking yesterday about the streetwear program and how streetwear is not.
I remember.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So you guys are getting a full scholarship to the Streetwear Essentials program, which also has April Walker. And she's giving you a lot of this. We didn't go into self-care, so this is an added bonus. But she definitely speaks to the entrepreneurial journey in the streetwear industry. And sometimes hearing other people's experience will help you carve a better path into how you're going to get the job done. So yeah.
Congrats. I'm very excited for you in that course. You're welcome. So are we going to do we have time to do like a 1-minute visualization?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, I'm going to do an exercise with you that I do with myself in the morning. And I'm not going to do the full time, but let's just do 30 seconds to a minute even, right? We have a minute time, right?
Yep.
So the minute is going to be this, guys. For a minute, what we're going to do is close our eyes. And before you close your eyes, I want you to think about, we're going to do something in the future versus today. You can do, when you visualize, you can visualize what you want your day to be like. What if you have an event coming up, it could be that. If you have a dream, it can be what you feel like when you arrive at that dream, that moment. So today, let's think about something that you really want to happen and figure out what that one thing is going to be. And what we're going to do is close our eyes and we're going to imagine ourselves waking up that morning and feel what it like. Feel what it feels like to wake up in the morning. How good it feels, how much gratitude you have because you woke up another day. What does that moment feel like? And you're living in your dream right now. You've managed to make it through all the sweat and tears and all the hard work it took to get it. How does that feel? Are you thankful for that? Now you're moving. What are you doing? Envision what that feels like after you wake up. I want you to think about what you're doing from the moment you woke up that morning to the moment you go and hit the pillow again. How much joy you have, how much gratitude you have. How does it feel? Where are you? What are you doing? Visualize it, but feel it. And this is the process of visualization. So as I ask you to slowly open your eyes, I ask you to do this in the comfort of your home when you're by yourself. And maybe add that to the list of the 30 days.
Mhm.
Just a few minutes every day to try that. So powerful. You're actually manifesting your future when you do this. At first, it might seem silly, it might not seem real, but the more you do it, the more clarity you're going to have to seeing it happen. So do it and make it a practice and just believe it is so already. Eventually, you will believe it is so. Practice makes progress and progress makes perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys all for spending your time with me. You could be anywhere, but you're here, and I'm in gratitude for that. I hope you got something out of today.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us, guys. I mean, a lot of these processes, the information that you gave us was invaluable. I know I needed it. I'm sure everyone needed it. Jennifer, who's also in the chat, she said, my spirit is full. She said, I definitely needed it. So thank you so much, April, for taking the
Thank you,
time.
everyone. Thank you. And find your life journey. Like, it's a life journey. It's all different for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So just be good to yourselves and be proactive about it. And don't be reactive. You get in front of your life. Let you lead your life and not you chase it. So I always say, let me lead my life and not chase it. And that means you've got to go ahead and do some planning for you because you matter and you are worthy. Just know that.
Mm-hmm.
So you set up those
100%.
practices with very simple practices. Start there. The rest gets easier as you start doing it consistently. It's like getting on a bike.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, April.
Thank you. Have a great
And
one. Oh, really quick, guys. Can I? The remix. The remix Hip Hop Times Fashion is dropping on Netflix tomorrow. And it is going to be a game changer. And it's about culture shifters in the industry. Misa Hilton, a whole bunch of people. If you're in streetwear or you're interested in streetwear, you don't want to miss this. It drops on Netflix tomorrow and it's called The Remix Hip Hop Times Fashion. I'm in it. Misa Hilton's in it. Dapper Dan, Curry John Raymond. It's so good. You'll be blessed. Thank you, Shan.
thank you.
Have a great one. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I forgot this one.